Welcome everyone. Today we have a very exciting build, and this is an all unique Necromancer build. So before we start, let me show you guys all the uniques that has gotten, and this is actually really fun to go with most of the uniques you can find. So there's the Black River, there is the Little War, there is the Flicker Step, there is the Tabless Well. Don't worry guys, we'll go through those effects very soon. There is How From Below, and there's also X-Fast Syncnet. Now, he didn't have all the uniques because he still needs his core spells, right? So in order to be a little tanky, he didn't go for the unique chest and not the unique helmet yet. But if he gets the shackle, he can go for the shackle. So there are one or two items that is not unique at the moment, just because he needs his abilities to trigger the darkness spells. But he has 6 uniques, and some of those are really rare and really powerful from Dorio. So let's have a look at the gameplay. Yeah, quite excited to show you guys this one, and this is a tier 100 dungeon. I want to show you guys how powerful the build is. It literally melts everything like butter. And what you want to see is, well, the build is very durable. It has over, I think, 11,000 armor, which we'll have a look at stats very soon, and the build does tons of damage. Most of the monsters in the dungeon actually dies in a few hits. The only downside is he is a little susceptible to range damage and just burst damage in general. But the build itself is extremely powerful with all the uniques. Now, the best thing about having those uniques is that you don't have to worry about the stats, you just have to farm one with a good roll. And the combination of the uniques and also his vampiric powers means, tier 100 doesn't stand a chance. And this build is incredibly powerful for farming bosses, single target, AoE target, super sustain, very low cooldown. Look at the Blood Mist. The Blood Mist has almost no cooldown. And the build is just super powerful. There's a lot of good stuff in it. And you can see the damage. And this is the tier 100, guys. No joke. The monsters actually melts pretty fast. Let me see if I can put the bounty up a little bit for you guys. Yeah, it is extremely good. And what I'll do is, at the end of the video, I'll provide you guys with this whole replay and all the summaries and details to the build. So let me fast forward to the boss a little bit. So coming over to the boss now. What you can see is, against the boss, he has the Black River, which allows him to summon more corpses, and there's also a lot of spread of damage. So against the boss, most of the time, you are actually very durable with 12 potions, and you have Fortify. You also have lots of damage over time. You have a lot of controls to stagger the boss, and the single target damage, surprisingly, it is very powerful because of the damage over time, and also just the sheer amount of corpses you can summon, and also disables you can do. You have very low cooldown because of the Cripify, and even in tier 100, it feels like, tier 50. It feels like everything's very simple. The only downside about this build is that he loses a little bit of mobility because he can't use some movement speed boots. But, if you're killing everything like butter in tier 100, you pretty much can clear any content in the game if you have those particular items. Now we'll briefly talk about how to get those items, and on my next video, guys, I'll give you guys the rates for Dorio, and I'll be working on that as well. So there you go, tier 100. And let's basically have a quick look at his gears, and of course most of them are unique items, so we'll spend some time to talk about how to farm those. Now I think it's easier, let's briefly have a look at his current stats. So here he has over 10,000 armor, 13,000 life, and 12,000 attack power. So I think it is actually easier if I come over to the game and inspect him from here and go through the items. So briefly go through the unique items. So the Black River is farmed from Dorio, and Dorio can be done using our method, and I'll share with you guys the best ways of farming Dorio. You do want to get the max road of the healed flash and then going for the corpse skills, and everything else is a bonus. The How Far Below can be farmed from the steel monster by getting the 300 steel, from Helltide. I'm sure you guys know this. You do want a little high roll. He had the minimal roll over here. Now the Tabless Well and also Flicker Step also came from Dorio. Those are quite powerful in the sense of providing him with additional damage, little bit damage reduction, just the fun of having unique items and not worry about rerolls, and not having to worry about, any of the stats you wanted. It's just automatically there, right? You just need the perfect stats. Did we clear the dungeon? Oh, I think he just died. I thought we cleared the dungeon. Sorry about that. Let's focus, because he's actually carrying us at the tier 100 run. Right now, I'm making the build. Now, X-Fast Synced, this is a very powerful item, and he also has the maximum roll. So this provides you with cooldowns, damage over time, most of the damage, all stats like it. Everything the Blood Mist build wanted for the Necromancer. And finally, the Lidless War, it provides you with life, and surprisingly, it provides you with a lot of block damage, block chance, and also thorns, and also armor. Very, very good defensive item, and it deals tons of damage because of this as well. And with the lucky hit he has, this is actually incredibly good. So those are the 6 unique items you can have onto this build. Now, it is not needed, guys. You can see that currently I'm like halfway there. I have the Black River, which is actually max heroed. I have the gloves, health from below, and that's pretty much. I think I have the pants. I don't have the legging, I don't have the ring, I don't have the shield, but that is still doable. Because even, just having the basics of the build, it can still work. Don't worry, you don't need all 6. But the more you get from Doriel, the more stronger you become. Now, briefly talking about Doriel, just to help you guys farm if you guys are going for it, make sure you do the Hell Tide whenever it's up. Go for the 300 steel chest like we mentioned in the previous video, and then do it as 4 players. This way, after 1 Hell Tide, you can get at least 2 chests and summon at least 2 Doriels, because most of us do have enough for Versarion. Once you get the steel monster to get the shard and get the eggs from Versarion, you can summon Doriels. So do the steel chest and then farm the eggs. Because eggs are much easier to get, you can pretty much match however of the steel boss you get, you can get the eggs after. Do keep in mind, while you are summoning for the weaker bosses to get Doriel, only the player that activates a boss gets the ingredients for Doriel. So only the person that uses the steel or the person that summons the Versarion can get egg or get the shard, and this allows you to summon Doriel. So what I mean by that is, let me show you guys the items over here. So, I actually don't have any. So yes, if you summon Versarion, and the player that uses the material will get the item for Doriel. And pretty much each of the runs is guaranteed you get 1 item. Other players won't get those items. Now, so coming back to the items again, I got a little sidetrack on the unique items. So as we come over to the items, you can see the helmet. He didn't get the best helmet, and he was a little short on resistance. That's why you can see some of the resistance. He didn't feel like he needed the cooldowns. So total armor and also maximum life is preferable on the helmet. And the helmet is going with Blood Mist, lowering the cooldowns and also triggering corpse explosion. So this is quite important. As for the chest, similarly, he couldn't get the best rolls on the chest, so he still had shadow damage. You can go more defensively with close damage reduction and also maximum life over shadow damage. Here he had total armor, distance damage reduction, reduced damage from damage over time. He can get damage reduction from fortified, close damage, and even all total damage reduction. So as for the legendary aspects, he's going with increased armor by 66%. Very, very important in the later stage of the game, especially multiplying from the armors of the Lidless War. Very, very good. As for the amulet, he's going with cooldown reduction, all corpses skills, and also fueled by death for now. It is not the best amulet again, as I mentioned, but this one has some decent rolls in terms of the legendary effect, providing him with 159% more damage. Now, as for the final ring, he's going with Bone Storms converting into the darkness spells, which allows him to trigger all his key passives. He's going with critical chance, damage over time, shadow damage, and also maximum life. This is quite nice to have a utility and also defensiveness from the rings. Now, during the making of this video, I'm updating on the build guide for you guys to level 100 on the Paragon board, and also on all the items for the, the rich kid, all the legendary and also unique item build for the Necromancer. So this will be updated on Mobilityx. Make sure you guys check the links. At the moment, you might see it not being updated in half hour or 1 hour. I'm just getting the Paragons. I'll try to do it fast, but you might see the older build that is previously. So if you do see that, it's okay, very, very similar. And I'll have his whole, replay to show you guys if you want to get into the build as quickly as you can. Now, there are some adjustments for the build, which we'll go through over here in terms of vampiric powers. Most of the skill trees, paragons are very, very similar to the previous build we just talked about. So the vampire powers, we're going with a Cursed Touch, and this is very straightforward, because you want to be giving enemies vampiric curses for a lot of good benefits. Now he's going with the Undying, which provides him to heal himself for 3% of life, to make sure he is a little more durable, because he actually does a lot of damage. Now because he wants to get Unstoppable to benefit from the unique item, he's going with Metamorphosis, and this allows him to gain Unstoppableness and also to do a little more damage. After that, he's going with Domination to provide himself with more damage against stun and also injured enemies, and he does stun them with the Corpse Tendril. Finally, the crucial one for the damage over time build is going to be Flowing Winds to provide himself with the 60% damage over time with the Vampire Curse. So you can see, guys, there are some adjustments over here compared to what he was using previously, with skills like Anticipation, which was not used anymore, and also skills like Ravenous, which provided him with more attack speed. So there's some adjustments over here, and I'll be updating this one for you guys very, very soon. Now a brief summary onto the skill choices and also paragons. Well, the skill choices, one thing you want to focus is, this is how he's getting fortified from. The 3 level in Narcotic Carapace. He's not going with the, he's not going with the stuns from Shadow spells, but rather he's getting a lot of fortified because of this. Other than that, everything is pretty straightforward to the previous one. You unlock most of the trees and you get the rest of the points defensively or offensively, depends on yourself. Now, one thing I forgot to mention with the gear of choices, notice the gems that he's socketing is now damage reduced while fortified, because remember earlier he had over 13,000 HP. And here he's going with damage over time, purple gems on the weapons. And in terms of the sockets for the accessories, I think he actually found himself to be a little short on armor. He had enough resistance. And because of that, he's going with the 250 armor on the accessories. And here you see he still went for the 35 resistance. So if you guys are capped out on 70 resistance, you can then go for the armor ones. This will still be beneficial against the monsters. Now coming over to the fun part of the skill rotations. Well, this is very straightforward. You just press your skills, everything dies, in tier 100, right? So the fun part is you're actually, spamming 2 of your spells. One is Blood Mist, one is your Bone Shield. And both of them does tremendous damage, and also one provides you with invulnerability, one provides you with damage over time and barrier. So those are defensive and also offensive. You can use both Bone Shield and also Blood Mist at the same time, but it's a little wasteful. You can start a fight with Blood Mist or you can start a fight with Bone Shield. And by evading, you're actually getting lower cooldowns to your Bone Shield, so keep that in mind, it's very good. Now, whenever you find yourself a little low on cooldowns, or if you find yourself want to weaken enemies, make sure you start with the Decrepify. Notice that what he's doing. This weakens enemies, reduces the damage, and also lowers your skill cooldown with a lucky perk. So this provides him with almost no cooldown, very, very durable, does tons of damage, and the skill is very fun. The only downside is you don't get to see so much damage because it dies so fast. And because it's damage over time, you will get to see the millions of numbers that is ticking on the monsters. Now surprisingly, for the build against the boss, it's very straightforward. You want to spam Corpse Tendril for the disable. You can be saving your Bone Shield, but there's no need for that, because the boss actually don't do enough damage. You can be saving your Blood Mist. Similarly, there's no need for that as well, the boss does not do enough damage at the moment. As long as you avoid the super hard hitting skills from the boss, you just have to normal attack the boss, spawn corpses underneath the boss, and actively summons the corpses to do more damage. And you can see that the boss is actually getting staggered a lot, and as long as you remember to dash a lot, you'll have a lot of Bone Shield to deal more damage because of it. Now what I do now is I'll provide you guys with a whole replay of Death's build, and the links available on Morbiditix will be updated very soon, and once I get it ready for you guys, you can see that as well. So if you guys want to try the build before that's ready, definitely have a look at the builds over here, and that has provided us with more updates and also more skill ranks to everything that's related. So a big thank you for Des for sharing this wonderful, unique build for the Necromancer for tier 100. Now, because I plan to showcase and also share a lot of good builds with you guys, if you guys do have an interesting and also wonderful build, make sure you send me a message on Discord. We can work through making a clip for the video and also demonstrating to the viewers out there to show you an amazing build and also a creative build. So make sure, guys, if you have a great build on any of the classes, Necromancer, Jewels, and also Sources, let me know in the comments, and also let me know on Discord. So we'll get your build sorted and share it with the community to see how powerful your build is, and it doesn't have to be a meta build.
Khó chịu thật. Lỗi. Ngược.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I need more time.
Điều anh muốn ta luôn thấy em cần, chẳng còn phải lo lắng vì em ở đây rồi.
But if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.